Hi there, I'm Maria from the Riches and Simple Living. Today I'm going to be doing a collab about New Year's resolutions. There's a few other people doing this collab, so rather than name everybody, I put the links to their pages down below and you can go and check them out and have a look what they're all about. I'm sure you'll enjoy them very much. But yes, it's about New Year's resolutions. Well, I never make New Year's resolutions, to be honest. I've never done that. But what I do, I always have hopes and some plans for the year ahead. So whether you would call that resolutions, I don't really know. But resolution seems such a strong word to me. I feel like you've got to adhere to it. But no, I always have hopes of things I'd like to happen and the plans for it. Just hope it works. But yeah, so I thought what I'd do, if you see me looking down, I wrote some notes because I won't remember otherwise. So I'm looking at my notes. Excuse me for that. So yes, I thought what I'll do, I'll just give you a run through like of this year first, really, to sort of show you where we're at. Sorry if I keep doing this in my head. My daughter trimmed my fringe for me and there's a piece somewhere that's bugging me and it's driving me mad. I can see that instead of what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm going to run through first of all this year, or go back to this point last year and what I expected of this year, so you can see how that has led me to where I am now before I can go on and tell you where we want to be, where we want to go from here for next year. So if I was to review this year from this point last year, from New Year last year, obviously it was a very different time then. Everything about us was completely different then. My daughter, she was in her last year at primary school, year 6, because as you know, she did all primary school. It's only secondary school we're home educating for. So she was in her last year of year 6. Everything was looking rosy and good. She was quite an active girl. She was on the school netball team. She played in all of their tournament matches and she got the star player for netball award. She got the award for that. Everything was rosy. She was looking forward to, well, apart from SATs, she wasn't looking forward to the SATs, but she was looking forward to the rest of year 6 because they do a lot of fun activities together. They go out to Alton Towers, which is a big theme park quite close by. They go to cinemas, they go to the bowling, they have fun days, and they do a lot of things. They do the year 6 leavers play. They have presentation days, and along with sports day and other activities at school, all the school do. She had all those to look forward to. So everything was looking rosy. Dean was in talks with another family member about the business. They were going to make the business bigger. They've got all the plans in place for everything, and they were going to do that from the April, the start of the new tax year, because obviously it'll change Dean's taxes, so it was best to start at the start of a new tax year. So that was all in place, ready to do that. Yes, everything was looking great. I'd never thought about being a YouTuber or anything at this point last year. I mean, I did watch YouTube and I did watch channels I was interested in. And I knew that we were going to be homeschooling from September. So I was just starting to look into homeschooling YouTubers to see what that was about. But up till that point, I mainly watched like a lot of homesteading and gardening and things like that. But I'd never ever thought about becoming a YouTuber myself. So yeah, it looked rosy. I can remember being outside watching fireworks at the stroke of midnight with a glass of wine in my hand, thinking the year ahead looked rosy. It was all promising and it was full of things and new adventures. Then March came. COVID, schools closed, first lockdown, Dean stopped working because he wasn't sure whether he was meant to be working or not. I mean, Dean is an outdoor worker, and later we found that outdoor workers could continue anyway. But he did stop working for a month and a half to 2 months, and things changed. There was no more school, which meant no more netball. Horse riding and pony clubs were all cancelled. There was no more of that until further notice, and that notice has never happened, although I do see that little periods in between that the school has been taking on riders and lessons and pony clubs, but they've never rung Sean, and neither have they rang my granddaughter as well, because she went to the same pony school. So everything stopped, everything changed, but it was quite nice. Whether that was because the sun was shining, I don't know, but we were all home together. Sean did homeschooling online, school set work for her, and we did it online. So that was like a little taster of what was to come in September, really. The only difference was we got guidance with school, and obviously we haven't now. I'm just going to wiggle along a bit, because as I'm moving, I notice the lights catching my glasses, so I'll just move along a bit. So yeah, we did homeschooling from home. Dean was home. We did a lot of outdoor jobs, planted all our vegetables, because we'd got garden boxes. I might have showed them in an earlier vlog where we grew some of the things that we liked eating. So we did that. And as time went on, I was thinking like about work and about the garden. I'm thinking it's hard to get things in the shops. We need our supermarket in our back garden, because previously we've had an allotment, but time commitments, we just couldn't keep it up. So we thought, well, what if we dig up one of our lawns and plant a load of vegetables, and we'll have food, plant all the things like eating. We should be semi-self-sufficient. So that was the first thing we thought then. I mean, we've got our chickens and our ducks and our pheasants, as I've showed you in some of my earlier vlogs. So we've always got eggs and that. And so I thought, well, we just need more vegetables. What we need to do is try and get vegetables going all year round, well, as best as possible anyway. So eating in season, really, like they used to do years and years ago, before the big supermarkets and everything being imported. Be nice just to eat from the garden in season. It's healthier. We'll get a healthier diet from it. We know where the crops have been grown, what's been sprayed on them, which will be nothing but water. So I thought, yeah, we need to do that. So we thought, obviously we planted our planters for this year. We thought, well, that can be for next year's goal, 2021. So that is one of our aims for next year. We also, from September, we started homeschooling, and I thought I'd started looking at homeschooling vlogs at this point, and I was obviously still reading my gardening vlogs and watching them, and I started looking at other homeschoolers, and it seemed like they got a nice community going on. And at this point we weren't really seeing anybody. Sean wasn't seeing a friend from school, because this is one thing that worries me, is isolation. I don't mean isolation because she's homeschooled. I mean isolation because of all the lockdowns and because of the COVID and everything, because she can't mix with the friends from school. They're still friends. In fact, one posted a Christmas card throwing the whole letter in it, how much she missed her, and it'd be nice when they can go out to ride on the bikes together again and that. So it's nice to know her friends are still there. I just wish that it would happen soon, because she's on her own every day. I mean, she goes on to FaceTime some friends, but it's not the same, I don't think. It's nice having the chat, but it's not the same as going out and seeing them physically. So, yeah, I forgot what I was talking about now. This is me going off track again. Good job I've got notes. Yeah, so... yeah, September, I've still forgotten, haven't I? September we started homeschooling, and I'm a bit anyhow with it still at the moment. Maths, as you've probably seen if you've ever seen any of my vlogs. Oh, I do go on about maths. I whittle a lot about maths, and I have decided now that enough is enough. Trying to keep up with Year 7 work, Key Stage 3 work, she can't do it. She needs life skills, so that includes life skills in maths, and that is what we're going to start from in January, learning the things she needs to learn. So I've got some AI and some books which I'm going to order from Amazon, and when they come I'll show you them and talk about them then. So yeah, so our goals for 2021 is that we want to be semi-self-sufficient and live a little more frugally, because we can be quite wasteful. I mean, I can't control my older ones who earn their own money, buy their own things, and they're wasting them all the time, chucking things away and what they buy, and I can't control that because that's their money and not to them what they buy. But me, Dean and Sean, then we can try and live more frugally and teach Sean to be a little bit more frugal, try to save more, because that leads us on to what we want to do with Dean and his business in 2021. I mean, like I said, this time last year we were planning on building it up with another family member. We were going to make a much bigger business, because with Dean's business it can build up so easily. People are always wanting things doing, and this year, once he went back to work, he was quite overworked. So it's a case of taking more people on if we do build up. We don't really know what's going to happen there. I think as 2021 unfolds, we'll know more what we want to do. He'd like to retire. Our goal was for the end of 2021 to retire, so, or at least be almost at retirement point, because the idea of taking on a partner in the business and getting some other staff was so that Dean could step back, because he I can't say my words, suffers arthritis in his knees. And as you know, the weather, well, in England the weather is pretty bad at the minute, very cold and not at all good for arthritis. So yeah, he'd like to spend more time doing the garden, and maybe we'd get an allotment again then, because we'd have the time. So he'd like to do that. I mean, our ultimate dream is for Dean to retire, spend more time in the garden, or get an allotment as well, grow lots of vegetables. If we have surplus vegetables, especially in the garden, because I think from allotments there's rules and regulations, you can't sell your surplus there, but obviously from our garden we can. So if we have lots of surplus that we can't freeze, such as salady things, we could perhaps sell salad boxes and make a little money there. We could sell eggs, because we always do get overrun in them. So we can sell eggs, we can sell duck eggs. My pheasants, we're hoping to breed them in 2021, and they fetch about, I think it's £50 for a pair of them, male and female, and ours are unrelated, so we could sell them £25 each, or just the eggs, hatching eggs, we can sell them, and they go quite well even on eBay. I mean, I'm a bit concerned about sending them for the post, but that's the risk people know they're taking if you post them. So there's that possibilities as well. I was thinking about going a bit more into crafting, because we used to go to the local farmers market. They're 4 times a year, and I used to decoupage jars and pebbles, things like that. They sold quite well. That made you some nice money, so you could make a week's wage easily from one market, but that's only 4 times a year. But you could do other markets round and about. But having said that, I don't want to get so bogged down doing all that, because it takes time. I don't want to get so bogged down doing that I haven't got time for all the other things, and especially as I've got to bear in mind teaching Sean. So it'd be nice just to keep that to a minimum. I have got a Facebook page now for the Riches and Simple Living. I think I've got 3 followers, and one of them's my niece. So, but yeah, I could probably build that up and perhaps sell the few bits I've got on there when there's no markets, because I always have extra bits anyway. So I can have little spurges of doing it, and you know, then perhaps selling some on there. I don't know. There's lots of different ways, so it'd be quite nice, because even if Dean could half what he does, do half a month, so he's got half a month free for the things we want to do in the garden, that would be quite good. So it just means making up then half the money, and then maybe once we get to that point, I can look at it again and say, right, let's sort the other half of your work out and see if we can make that up. So that'll sort of take shape as the year goes on. We'll know what's happening as the year goes on. It depends sort of on what money we can make in from the garden, from eggs, and if I do some crafting again. I mean, like I said before, I always sell items on eBay. Like, I get given a lot of things, and I always sell things we don't want, because I don't like chucking things away, so I like to try and sell it on somebody else. Then the money you get comes in for other items that we need. I mean, I always did this with Sean when she was at school. Used to sell things she'd grown out of, uniforms, clothes, and then the money would buy a next year's school uniform and things she needed. So to me, it's like recycling, and none of it's going to landfill, which isn't a good thing. So yeah, that's what I do. Maybe I'll be able to sell some items next year, but again, I don't want to go into that so much, because it can take up a lot of time, and I don't want to get bogged down by that either. So it's just getting the right balance of everything, and a little bit here, a little bit there, so you enjoy it as well, because too much one thing, taking all your time up, you get stressed and you don't enjoy it in the end. So that's what we're hoping to do. We'll talk about that as the year goes on in different vlogs, I'm sure, how things are progressing there. So what else have I put in my notes? Yeah, Sean's homeschooling. I'm hoping to do some life skills and what interests her, really, so she can be a bit self-led. So far we've been following a lot of curriculum things, and I think that's because school is ingrained into us, but and you have to teach them something suitable for the education. So again, then when you think for their age, education for their age, I should say, you start thinking then about, oh, what they're learning in schools. Well, schools isn't always the right way. I mean, you go to private schools, they don't have the curriculum, and neither does the school that two of my grandchildren go to, because it's a free school and they can choose their own curriculum, what they want to do. So that doesn't follow the national curriculum. So I think what's suitable for your age? Well, when you're grown up, what have you got to do? You've got to be able to not be dewed in the shops. You've got to, you know what you're doing, how to handle money. You've got to know your time. You've got to be able to work things out. If you're cooking or anything, just even throwing a party and just wanting to know how much food to get, divide it by the people that you've got going, how much you want each person to eat. You've got to be able to think of things like that. You know, you've got to have some life skills, and they're the important things, and the things that interest her, because they may be the things that shape her future. You know, if she excels in something that interests her, that's your child's future, isn't it? That could change everything for them. So I need to keep that in mind. I need to keep it in mind. I mean, we do have workbooks, and we probably will finish the book she's been doing, but definitely halfway through this year, or by the time year 8 starts for her in September, the new school year, we'll be a bit more self-controlled rather than book controlled. So yeah, I think I'm excited about next year. Yes, in some ways. I don't feel like I felt the same this time last year. I just felt relaxed and everything is good. But this year I feel a bit more, I've got to take the helm a bit and shape things. If I want to be semi-self-sufficient, I want Sean to do the sort of homeschooling that we dreamt of in the beginning, and not school-led. I would like to start a breeding programme for pure breed chickens, my Buff Orpingtons. I'm thinking perhaps we'll do that. I'd like to do that. So yeah, I think next year, that's really all the things I want to do. Dean's work, we need to sort that out, but I can't make absolute plans on that. That's something that's got to be sort of worked toward. Like I say, if we're leaving ourselves without an income, we've got to replace that income by doing something that's in line with our, you know, dreams and plans for the future. Things we enjoy doing. And also, I'd like to try and find somewhere for Sean to go riding again. I mean, at the moment, it is all shut down, riding schools everywhere. She does want to carry on with her riding. Come March, it'll have been a year since she last rode, and she does want to do that again. So I'm hoping sometime in 2021, all these things will be lifted and she can go back to doing all of that, and she'll enjoy that. Because these are the places that she socialised as well, and met a lot of children her age and younger and older, you know. It was quite a nice mix. So we'd like to do that again. And of course, I want to do vlogs. I can't remember exactly why I started vlogging. Oh, it was the community, I think, because I was watching it and everybody was talking when they did their comments about how they enjoyed the community that they were in with it. And I thought, well, vlogging might help me as well, with the homeschooling and with persevering at things. And also because I do suffer anxiety and I'm quite shy. So it might help me to learn to speak to people, and because I'm not in the same room, if you know what I mean. And so I thought it'd be quite nice. So yeah, my daughter, she does some vlogging, and so she helped me get started, and I enjoy doing it. I do like doing it, and you know, it sort of helps me to focus on what I'm doing as well. And I enjoy watching all the people I'm interested in, and it has got a great community. I'm not in a gardening community as of yet, but I've not really responded much to anybody there, but I did with the homeschooling because that was the most important thing to me. And I'd like to thank Victoria from Home Educating the Mad Lads for taking me on board, and she's made me feel part of the community, and she sort of brought me into it, I feel, really. So thank you, Victoria. If you ever get a chance to watch her channel, it's brilliant. It's great fun, and watching what the family get up to, and Victoria's chickens as well, and an allotment, which I'm hoping we see some of next year. Hint, hint. So yeah, it is a nice community, and I'm starting to recognise people's names and things, and you know, I can feel the community sort of building around me and taking me in, and it's really nice. It is really nice, and I'm really grateful for that. So big thank you to everybody who, you know, helps me become a part of that, helps me feel part of it, I should say. So yeah, so I've just got to get in with the gardening community as well now to help me with my projects out there. So that's really what I'm hoping for next year. Well, I was going to say nothing life-changing, but I suppose it is life-changing things, isn't it, really? Because I'm a sort of person, I don't really like going with the rat race. I'm a bit free-spirited. I like to just go on my own flow of things. I don't like to be pinned down to anything. And I mean, given the choice, I would live off-grid in the middle of the woods, or jump in a caravan and just roam around the countryside of Britain. Yeah, I'm just like to be a bit free-spirited. So I think this is quite nice because it does give you the freedom to be able to grow your own things, to teach your own children. There's a lot of things you can do. So the one thing I am hoping next year, actually, as is everybody expects, is for this COVID to vanish, to get on top of it all, for places to be open. Because the one thing I did think about homeschooling when we first started to talk about it was I wanted to do a lot of visiting. I mean, we love our history, as we've said before, and Sean loves history. And it'd be nice to go to places and, you know, do your lesson there. I mean, we're lucky we've got quite a lot of historic places round and about us. And it'd be nice to pack up the history books and textbook and off we go and actually be there looking round and discussing it and bringing it to life, really, a living history. So I'm hoping that places are open next year so we can get on and do that. Yes, I can't think of anything else really that has taken our focus for next year. Just those few things. Dean's job, become semi-self-sufficient and very frugal, and what's the other one? Sean's education. Education. Got a better memory as well, I would like, next year. So yeah, they're the three main things. And keeping up with my vlogging. I want to keep up with that. Hopefully get better at filming things, because some of my videos are a bit here, there and everywhere. I went to the garden centre. My filming was zzz, zzz, zzz. These says, can't you keep that camera still? I'm going giddy. But I've always been like that. We used to have a camcorder and go on holiday, and I'd film things and it would be vroom, vroom. You couldn't watch it back. It was terrible. And so to try and film better and to try and get clearer pictures and get the light better and work all that out. I only film on my phone, but that's still no excuse not to get decent light. Yeah, try and do better. I mean, yesterday, I think it was the day before yesterday, when it snowed, and I went out to show you all the snow, and I thought, I didn't know how to turn my camera off me to focus beyond me. So I just swung it around, held it in my hand like that, and I think it was up in the sky when I looked up, I saw Sean's head in the sky most of the time. So I really do need to improve on that. So that's something for next year as well. So yeah, so that's all I think really. What I want to do with the vlogs though is try and do different days for the different things that we're going to be doing. So like gardening and animals type of thing as semi-self-sufficiency things will be on one day. Another day or two will probably be dedicated to home education, because of course on the Thursdays we do Sean's cooking vlog, which reminds me to say that won't be next week, it'll start the week after, because the beauty of homeschooling is you can have another week off school. And as I've got a funeral to attend next week, and sadly I've lost an auntie now, lost an uncle a couple of months ago, and still sorting everything out there. Now we've lost an auntie, and because they didn't have children, and her husband's already passed away, it's sort of upon the shoulders of nieces and nephews, and there's not many of us, so I've got all that to do. So we're going to start schooling not next Monday, a week on Monday, which will be the second week in January. So that'll be the week then when we begin the homeschool cooking vlogs again. So yeah, so we're going to probably do 2 days of that, so you can see what we're doing, and one will be the homeschool cooking vlog, which is always on a Thursday. Comes out later Thursday, usually the time we've done it and I've uploaded it. We're going to do the house next year. We totally want to renovate it. It's a tip hole. Oh, it is a tip hole. We had some of our children move in and move out, move in, move out. The relationships are like this. And they bring the stuff with them when they move in, and they move out and forget to take the stuff back with them, and we've got things everywhere and everything needs a good sort out. Says to Dean, we need to skip. We're going to skip a lot. So that needs doing. We want to decorate all of the landing and the stairs, but I want to try and do it as cheap as possible. I've got some ideas on that, because carpeting is really extortionate. So I've seen some things and I've got some ideas. So that's going to make a start on that. I'm in what used to be my living room at the moment, which is at present my dining room, but it's only a small room, it's not very big. So we would like to put this back as a living room because it's cosy in the evening. It's just a nice little space to come and sit in, watch television, relax for a couple of hours before bedtime. So then I want to put the dining table back into the main bigger room, which you normally see me in as my living room at the minute, and put the dining table there because of course it's off the kitchen, so it's easier. So there's got to be a switch around, which means we've got to change colours and things like that, but I can work that out because I don't want to spend lots of money. Then the kitchen needs doing. Now that's going to be a big job. It needs tiling, it needs flooring, because we've got carpet tiles in there, but I want to take all the carpets out and I want to put laminate flooring down, or lino-y things, tiles in the kitchen. So that will cost money. I mean, there's not many ways I can think around that, getting it cheap, unless somebody sells them cheap, but I'd rather get new, I think, because with having the dog paddling mud in, I want something moppable. And as I've said before, when we've been doing the cooking vlogs, and I showed you like the small kitchen, and I've always told you there's a bit off it, it's just a shut door you see normally, but because my eldest son, he's used it as a bedroom, but he hasn't been here for a long time. He's at his girlfriend's. Well, I want to knock through that, but there's beds and cupboards in there at the minute, and lots of stuff that's stored. All that's got to be sorted. Wall coming down. I want to make it all part of my kitchen, and I want to put doing it again, American fridge freezer at the bottom, so I've got more fridge space, and units down one side. Or I have thought, as you see my dresser behind me, I thought maybe putting that down one wall, and if I could get a bottom, let me just tilt you a minute. Oh, hang on, without turning you off. See this bottom bit? You can get bottoms like that without having to have the top bit. So if I put all that down there, if I can get a bottom the same to go alongside of it, it would give me like a long length of workspace. At the moment I've got my printer and laminator on there, cookbooks, but the cookbooks can go down there. So yeah, move you back a bit again, get the light right again. So yeah, I'd like to perhaps put that down there because it's quite a bulky thing really, and although the other room is bigger, it does take up a lot of space. So that's a project as well for next year. So yeah, there is projects involved next year as well. So yeah, most people resolve just to lose weight and that's that. Not me, I have to go overboard with all the big jobs in life. I could do with losing weight, but that's a medical thing at the minute. To see what's going on with my weight. That's another story. That's another story. So that's all I've got to tell you. So thank you for watching. Check out everybody down below, and I shall see you soon. Bye for now.